What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports. We are here on the Ohio State channel at the voice of college football. In the offseason every year, I like to look at each team and look at if I think they're going to be better or worse the upcoming season. So I usually like to do this earlier in the offseason, but with the craziness of the transfer portal, even from today's video, I'm sure there's going to be some roster movement in this transfer portal, so that's why things are going to change. These are just some very early thoughts on Ohio State, and I'm going to tell you whether or not I think they're going to be better or worse this upcoming season. In 2020, this team was 7-1, of course, made it all the way to the national championship. I said that they would be worse in 2021. That proved to be true. They were 11-2. I was really back and forth on Ohio State. I thought they'd probably lose one game, but I was back and forth on whether or not they would lose 2 games. I thought they might make the playoff, and then I thought they might not. And but I just didn't think that they were going to be quite as good as they were in 2020, even if they did make it to the college football playoff. So now we look ahead to 2022, and will this team be better? Will they have a chance to maybe get back to the college football playoff? They were 11-2 this past season, second in the Big Ten East. And I'll just give my early thoughts here on this team, kind of run down the roster. You look at the quarterback position. I think C.J. Stroud coming back is really good for the Buckeyes, of course. And you look at the running back room. I mean, there's plenty of talent there with Travion Henderson, Mayan Williams. Yes, they lose Master Teague, but that's not really that big of a loss. And I think some people would look at it and say, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, these are 2 really good receivers, All-American type guys. How could they be better at wide receiver? I'm not going to say they'll be better, but I don't think there's going to be any drop-off. I think Smith and Jigba was really their best wide receiver last year. Maybe didn't get all the praise that they got. This kid, I think, is the best receiver coming back in all of college football. I mean, he is special, and so you got him coming back. You've got Julian Fleming, Marvin Harrison Jr. The list just goes on. This team is deep at wide receiver. I am not concerned one bit about wide receiver for Ohio State. Really, I'm not concerned about this offense at all. You look at the tight end position, they do lose Jeremy Ruckert. That's a pretty big loss, but they do have Cade Stover coming back. G. Scott probably going to get some playing time there at tight end as well. So again, skill position-wise, offensively, this team is absolutely loaded. No concern for me. Offensive line, they lose some good ones. They lose Petit Ferrer, they lose Munford, they lose Harry Miller. Those are big losses. I mean, you're talking about 3 really, really good players on the offensive line. But I think they're going to be okay there. You do have Paris Johnson coming back, DeJuan Jones. Those would probably be their top 2 offensive linemen this year. Could see Donovan Jackson in a starting role, or maybe Matthew Jones. I think Luke Whippler will probably take over at center. So I'm looking at this offensive line, and I'm not really too concerned. Maybe a little bit of a drop-off from losing some really good players there on the offensive line, but not enough of a drop-off that really concerns me. So I do think Ohio State will be fine there. And with all the skill position players coming back, I think this offense will actually be even better in 2022. But let's look at the defense now. We start on the defensive line. They do lose some big-time players. Tyreek Smith is gone. Haskell Garrett gone. Antoine Jackson is gone. But this team is absolutely loaded, and they are deep on the defensive line. I think maybe only Clemson can match the depth on defensive line that Ohio State has. You got a lot of guys coming back. Zach Harrison, is he finally going to break out? JT Tuimoloau coming back. We know how talented he is. I think Jack Sawyer is going to break out and have a big-time year. I think he's going to be special for them. Then kind of in the middle, you've got Jaron Cage. You've got Taron Vincent. I'm sure I'm leaving off guys, and this team is just loaded. They are deep on the defensive line, so I have no real concerns there. Everyone coming back at linebacker, an area that was maybe a little bit of a weakness for them last year, but with all the experience coming back, I think they're going to be in pretty good shape. Also have a guy coming in from Arizona State that will step up for them at linebacker as well. So I think they're going to be pretty solid there. Not the best group of linebackers in the country, but they'll be solid. You look at the secondary, cornerback, they do lose Sevyn Banks, Ryan Watts, Amara McCall. But they've got Denzel Burke coming back, and I think the biggest thing for them is getting Tanner McAllister, transfer from Oklahoma State. That's a very nice 1-2 punch at cornerback for them. And you got other guys in there as well. Cam Brown will be back. This team, this secondary, I think is going to be pretty strong. They lose Marcus Williamson, Craig Young. But, I mean, pretty much everyone else coming back in the secondary. You've got Bryson Shaw coming back, Josh Proctor. He should be back and good to go, hopefully. Ransom, Court Williams, Ronnie Hickman, who was kind of emerged as a star for them last year. The kicker, the punter coming back. So, again, when you look at this Ohio State team, there is no reason to think this team can't be better. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. This team will be better in 2022. Defense should be better. New defensive coordinator taking over. If they all buy in, the defense has a chance to be, I think, pretty good, actually. I know it hasn't been a strength for this team in recent years, but I think they have a chance to be pretty good on that side of the ball this year. Maybe really good. I mean, and there are some pieces there, especially with that defensive line, to where I could see Ohio State having a really good defense this year. The offense is going to be just as good as it was last season, if not better. So, yes, I think the Buckeyes have a really, really good shot of getting to the college football playoff, and I think they definitely will be better in 2022 than they were in 2021.